We're back in the shed again today. I thought I'd left this winter in the shed thing behind, but apparently not. Here we are again. As you guys know, we had quite a few issues relating to engine stops, and these were fuel related. Yeah, we're pretty determined that we're not going to have that problem again. So today's little task is to... Well, I spoke to the engineer, Peter, and he recommended that we do away with the filters, the two filters on the engine that I couldn't get like replacement filters for, so I kind of bodged them. And yeah, we're just for the avoidance of doubt as to whether that's causing us a problem, we're just not going to use the filters on the engine anymore. So we're going to try and devise our own bank of filters that will sit on the side of the bulkhead and be easily changeable spin-off filters, or easily changeable filters anyway, which are readily available. This is what we have. I bought 4 of these Delphi filters. They're all, I think, 45 litres per hour, which should be easily enough for our purposes. I'm hoping anyway. And the name of the game, what I'm hoping to do, as you see here, you've got the inlets 2 and 3 and the outlets 1 and 4. What I'm hoping to do is to have 2 banks of 2 filters. Okay, so the fuel comes in from the fuel tank, goes through the first filter, comes out of the outlet into the inlet of the second filter and goes through that. So you're double filtering your fuel, and then it heads off to the engine. And first task is to measure this all up, put some fittings on, and try and make some kind of gadget that's going to hold this onto the bulkhead. Okay, so here's the fittings put on them. So that's the blanking screw. So your input of the fuel into the first filter comes here, and that's a 8mm copper compression fitting through the filter, and the blanking for the second input. So the second input is blanked off, and the output from the first filter is there, again copper. So second filter, that's the input and that's the output. So we need to join these two together to make the first run of the double filtration. So I'm going to try and bend a bit of pipe now. This will be a laugh. Okay, so this is our pipe bending tool, and this is the first, well, a piece of pipe. I've cut it off about 15 centimeters long. Now try and get it straight before we start. It all comes in a roll, so it's difficult to get it straight. You can get a straightening tool, but anyway, right. The first thing I'm going to do is it's 8mm pipes. That's the middle setting, and put it on the edge here. And I just want to bend a 45-degree bend in it. So you go. This is the mark where it starts. I'm going to bend it around to 45 degrees, like that. Hopefully now I'm going to put that in again. If it's going to go, it's not going to go. Right, put that on the very end and bend another 45-degree angle. So you put a kink in it, basically. I'll try and get that flattened out. So hopefully, a bit of luck, that will go in there. I might trim that down. That will go in there, and that will go in there. Okay, in the end I had to cut another one because cutting down the pipe wasn't working for me. you need to have room to slide the nuts on and off. But anyway, so I've done another one. But anyway, that's the gist, folks. Yeah, I've got to go in now because I'm freezing cold. So that's where we got so far. That's all together, so it's looking half decent. And the plugs are in. I've used this stuff, which is unbelievably expensive, but it's apparently good for sealing joints and is okay with fuel. There we go. That's our new filter setup. Hopefully that will stop us drifting powerless down the Thames. Well, back in the boat again, and yeah, it's very, very cold. It's yeah, knocking on end of November. The boat's covered in snow. I got here just as it got dark and threw the central heating on, and it's just about getting warm now. It's taken me two goes of so 2 goes of 2 hours to actually get some heat into the boat. Wow. Anyway, there you go. I'm going to freeze tonight, and then went round to Dunham Mill and got myself a water bottle because I think it's going to be a very, very cold night. The reason I'm here is because I'm going to meet Peter Vorchek tomorrow, who's the engineer, and we're going to hopefully drop the gearbox out of the boat, and which I've never done before, so it'd be good to have somebody who knows what they're doing with me, with the idea of removing the flywheel so that we can get a new flywheel ring put on, or starter ring as it's called. But hopefully if we get it off, I'll show you that tomorrow. But that hopefully if we get that replaced, then we're talking about fixing our starting problem, which is one of the major bugbears of last season. So there you go. At the moment I'm sitting here trying to construct the remainder of the fuel filter system that I kind of half built in the garage at home, but I left the bits here, so I'm going to try and finish it off now. It's going to be an uncomfortable night, I feel. I don't know, I might have to yeah, somehow keep the central heating ticking over. Right, okay, so this mahoosive thing is what we've ended up with. So, if you didn't get it before, here's the rundown. The fuel comes in here at this T, and you got 4 valves, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, if these 2 valves are off, let's turn them off, a bit stiff because they're new. Right, the fuel come through this bank here into the input of the first filter and out of the output, into the input of the second filter and out of the output. So in effect, the fuel is filtered first and filtered second, and then comes out and out this T piece to go to the engine. So double filtration, but also the advantage of being able to, if you have a problem, the engine stops or whatever, you can just come down here and go, right, okay, if it's a filter problem, something is the matter, you can close this valve and this valve and open these two, and you've got two fresh filters ready to go. Yeah, so that's the theory. So you don't have to mess about, get your hands dirty, or start changing filters, which is big advantage if you're say you're in an estuary or tidal river or something like that. You don't want to be stopped for very long. I don't want to be stopped at all, in fact. Actually had enough of that. So there you go. Now all we've got to do is fit it in the engine bay somewhere, so it could just be a bit large because I didn't quite work out that it takes quite a lot of room to do this copper piping. But anyway, we'll have a little look in the engine bay later and just see where it can go. Hope it can go somewhere. Okay, so I'll bring you in on that. Count in, swans. Whoa, vicious. Swan feeding time. Taking really good. Now good day. And the ducks too. That's a great duck. That's it. That's it. See you tomorrow. See you at breakfast. Bye bye. Morning. Lovely sunny but very cold frosty morning, and I'm outside. You might ask yourself, what is he doing outside with a bowl of fairy liquid? Well, here we are. Here we are with the completed, I'm going to call it a thingamy because I've got absolutely no idea what to call it really, but our filter arrangement for the fuel. And there's a lot of joints here, so I'm just putting some compressed air in it. It's at 1.55 bar, and putting some soapy water around all the joints. The idea being that if you do have a leak, you'll get a bubble, obviously. It's easier to spot, and it's a much nicer thing to do on a cold morning than filling it full of diesel and having it fall all over your lap. So this is the advice, and I'm going with it. Anyway, one more round, but we seem to be okay here. It's holding at 1.55 bar, which is more than enough pressure. The pressure in the fuel system is probably going to be about a bar, but I don't know for sure. And there you go, plenty of bubbles, but not of my making. Okay, we'll leave that on and just see if that can hold its pressure for 10 minutes. It's a good excuse to have a cup of tea. Good stuff. Right, just thought I'd show you that. Catch you later. Right, finally, my copper spaghetti is in. Yeah, so that's your fuel line coming into the pre-filter, into the input, and at the moment all the valves are open, but what we will do is shut one of them, I am told, and that will stop fuel going into that side. I have to bleed both sides anyway, but there you go. Oh, there's the end of a long day and my fabulous fabrication work supported by bits of wood not quite as professional as that, but anyway, look, it's there. And that's the output. I've just got room to get this hose on here, which is the ISO hose, so within regs, to get back to the fuel input, to the fuel pump there. You can see that. Let's have a look. Yeah, and that's where it'll go. So we'll have to take that apart, but I'm hoping to do that when the engineer's here, and then he can help me bleed it through. But yeah, there you go. Big strides forward, hopefully, for a more reliable future. But you never know. Right, catch you later.